You wake up on a Monday morning as a 16-year-old and nothing you've ever done has mattered. It is September. You have started another year in high school. You are not aware of which year and have convinced yourself that it is of no consequence. You get out of bed and brush your hair with your hand and notice that going from your shoulder down your palm is one long red stretch mark. It is not a stretch mark though, as you are normal, not overweight, not fit, not skinny, nothing. It is ribboned and pink and thin. It is sore and soft to the touch. You can feel it barely taking the pressure of your thumb, nearly ripping. You walk to your bathroom. This is the time in the morning when you would normally shower, but given the newly discovered markings on your arm, you decide against getting wet. You look into the mirror. There's a feeling of despair as you witness the same thin flesh on your neck. And after lifting up your shirt, you notice it falls down your chest and your stomach like red-hot zebra stripes. Your other arm has them as well. They're the same ugly, pliable marks that you felt just seconds ago. You're concerned. You think for a second about what could have caused this, but nothing's different. Today is the same as the previous and the day before. Perhaps it is something you ate. You think, but then again, you convince yourself that you've been eating the same greasy shit food for years and no new combination could have caused this. There's something deeply wrong. You say this out loud, but you say it to no one. Although after repeating it several times, someone does appear. And that someone may or may not be your mom. And that person looks at you and your skin afflicts you. You ask her what is happening, and she tells you that it happens to everyone. And she'll take you to the doctors. You are not convinced, and you ask her what it is, and she simply tells you that your insides are growing faster than your skin. That your lungs, your bones, your muscles, your organs, your rib cage, and your heart is growing faster than you can contain it. She says that every single body is a river, and sometimes they just overflow. She lifts up her sleeve and shows you a tiny stretch mark on her bicep, and she says, that was once hers. Yours are much worse though, and she is concerned for a second and then tells you to get ready. You keep your shirt on, but putting on jeans is difficult. The coarse stitching rubs against your sore skin and it snags on the calves, and some blood pools through the blue denim. You ignore it because what is there to do? You can't stop. You need the doctor. Hopefully they will give you some pill or some ointment to make this go away. And you think that if everyone has had this happen, then it must be easy and you feel better. On the drive there, your mom listens to music in the car that you heard millions of times before. There's nothing new. Nothing has changed. Everything is the same and nothing ever happens. Except now. And it is terrifying because it is uncertainty. And it makes you angry. You grit your teeth and you feel the marks swell up to your jaw, thinning into the sheer fabric like a summer skirt. What happened during the night that triggered your body? You think about puberty and how you've already been through that. How that was rough, but not like this. The acne and the pressure, not the same pressure. No, with puberty it was external, like heavy air dropping down on you. This is internal, pushing outwards. You're 16, but you know you got hair in your balls. And you think about sex far too often you can comprehend the steps to get there. No, you think this is not puberty, this is something else, something stranger. When your mom pulls up to the doctor's office, you think that it will be over. It will be all over soon. In the waiting room, you see other people your age with the same problem. There are two boys sitting with their moms, looking ashamed and not making eye contact with anyone. Their faces are hidden behind magazines and journals. You cannot see the severity of their affliction. Perhaps it is worse. They glance up at you, and for a second, they are comforted knowing another has joined them in their body. Your mom takes a clipboard and fills out a paper the receptionist hands her. Your mom asks if you know your social security number, if you do not. She says, don't worry, and pulls the card out of her purse. She tells you that you should learn your own social security number, and that it is incredibly important for jobs, college, paying bills, and escrow, and mortgages, and insurance. These words are lost on you. You are only familiar with their existence, but not of any practical definition. There is no class in high school where they teach you these things. What are you doing here, you think? Getting better. The doctor calls your name before the others. You wonder whether this is good or bad. You cannot tell. You go and sit in a clean white room for 20 minutes when a nurse comes in. She asks for your symptoms and you recount your morning. She looks at your body, up and down, at your stretched skin. You are pale and sweating and your body burns because of it. She asks if you smoke. No. If you drink. No. If you have unprotected sex. No. If you have sex at all. No. If you have any tattoos. No. If you have anything of value or of interest in your possession or on your body. No. Have you left the country? No. Have you left the state? No. Have you left Dayton? No. Have you left your house in 2 days? No. If you or anyone you know has died recently. No. If you, in fact, are dead and unaware? No. If you love a fictional character? No. If you hate an attractive fictional character for being likable and well-written? No. If you have ever experienced love in its purest, most unpredictable form, and if yes, with whom and how wonderful was it? No. Okay, she says, it shows you everything. And on her form, it is wildly depressing. She leaves without saying goodbye. After another 20 minutes, the doctor comes in and asks you what your symptoms are, and you recant your morning to him again. He looks at your body up and down. He tells you to lay down, and he pushes on your stomach and asks if it hurts, and it doesn't. Not anymore, not there. The pain is a wash, like an all-over warmth. It makes a sound. He asks you to sit up. He asks your mom if this runs in the family, and she says yes. He laughs and says it's very common in this area of the world. What? The Midwest, he says. Boys specifically, some girls in the late teen years can start showing signs of mass arterial growth syndrome, but mostly it's boys. Is it fatal? Not typically. It can be treated though, but you'll need to see another doctor with more experience, a dermatologist. So he shakes your hand and it hurts when he squeezes your hand. Another 20 minutes pass, and a woman doctor comes in. She is young and far more attractive than the previous nurse. She asks you your symptoms and looks at you, now closer to a shambling plague victim. She asks some questions and asks you to clarify specifically whether or not you love anyone at all. You say no again. She says, are you sure? Because us doctors know when kids are lying. You ask her to please just fix the problem. She says that truthfully she can. The only thing she can do is slow down the growth. Slowing it enough may allow the rest of your body to catch up. Time, she says. Time is all it takes. She warns, though, against thinking too much, or at all, and says that overexerting your emotions can cause flare-ups. She said that you should find someone special, maybe a long-distance girlfriend, to teach you about establishing personal relationships before devolving into physical dependence. She recommends that you go to college, because that usually will reduce the redness of your stretched skin. Eventually, she says, no one will ever be able to tell what you have, and you'll look and act and feel like a normal human being. Normal, she says. Just like your mom and the nurses. Normal. She again recommends college. If you have not thought about college, maybe this time too. Your mom shakes your hand and you leave knowing that you must wait and that your bursting skin is semi-permanent. You think about the phrase semi-permanent and wonder whether it has any real-world applications. Is anything ever semi-permanent, or are things just permanent? When you leave the doctor's office, you walk past the two boys with the same problem. One stands, and he walks up to you. He is far worse than you. His eyes are bulging and bloodshot. His tongue is swollen and split down the middle. The skin around his mouth is stretched and scaled, and where his chin once was, there is now just raw muscle and bare bone. His forearms are cracked like ruined concrete, and through the crevices of his skin you can see his pulsing insides, his veins, and his inner workings. It is like staring at the back of a well-made watch. He extends his hand to yours, and you know the pain of feeling, and you opt not to shake it. He asks you what it is. What can he do to get rid of it? You tell him nothing can be done. You tell him that it is semi-permanent, and that our insides will always be bursting out of us, and that there's nothing anyone can do, all we can do is hope to conceal it. You tell him what your mother told you, that our bodies are rivers. They flow endlessly and forever, and sometimes they grow from the rain, and sometimes the walls crack and burst. You say you're sorry, you say you understand. He grits his teeth, though. His fat, bulging eyes swell larger, and he begins to cry. You tell him the doctor warned you about being emotional, and he doesn't listen. And in an instant, he turns and screams. He clenches his fist and punches the wall behind him. As his fist connects to the dry wall, you watch as his remaining skin snaps like a tense metal suspension cable, ripping and fraying in an instant down his arm, up his shoulder, and then finally shedding off of his body like bark from a tree being torn in half. He falls to the ground, and you shut your eyes tightly, thinking only